and just now going live on YouTube. Good morning. Welcome in, everybody, to the morning show. Welcome in my co-host, Alina. How are you doing this morning, Alina?
So sleepy.
Oh, well, you know, if you didn't stay up all night partying.
I went to bed, I swear.
I just want everybody to know, I think I've made it so that, hey, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. I think I've made it, Alina, so that you can hear when I play stuff on my computer. So I want to test that real quick. Hey, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. So let's try. Let's pull up a news video. News, and let's see if the guests can now hear the news. So you tell me if you hear this.
The Biden Justice Department has been politicized. That's the message this morning.
Alina, could you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I did hear it.
Oh, don't play with me like that. Which means I may be able to open up call-in lines for the YouTube during the morning show. Which means
Sorry,
morning shows might get crazy. But anyway, welcome in. It is Anti-maga Monday. Anti-maga Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Not a lot, but some major things have happened that we need to go over this morning. If you disagree with any of the prompts in the box, you can send a guest request. Alina does control the guest requests, so they will be bringing in people as they see fit. We'll be talking about the prompts on the board, which, for anyone that doesn't know, is Trump choosing his, well, what would you call it? I guess it's his daughter's father-in-law. So, like, relation to him is just like, either way, Trump choosing his felon-in-law is wild, but accurate. Trump choosing Kushner for the ambassador to France, which is kind of crazy if you know the history of what Kushner did. Specifically, it's, what is his name? Charles Kushner? Jared Kushner's father, whatever his name is. Yeah. If you know the history of Charles Kushner, at this point, you can't defend. At this point, you have to just recognize Trump is a rapist, or at the very least, Trump is just this guy. Like, there's no. How do you defend? I want to know how MAGA is going to defend that pick. Personally, I really want to know how MAGA is going to. Also, what's up, Chris? Welcome into the show. I want to know how MAGA is going to defend the Charles Kushner pick. I really do.
He's a felon with a lowercase f. You know. That's what they're going to say.
Well, you guys know what he did, right?
Yeah.
Run that by me.
Okay. Wait, do you actually not know? Because it's crazy.
I personally, that's the one thing that I didn't look too much into.
Okay. So Charles Kushner, now, just so everyone knows, Charles Kushner admitted guilt to all of this in a court of law. Said he did it. Okay. What he did is he paid an oldest profession worker, okay, paid an oldest profession worker to seduce his brother-in-law, okay. He then recorded this interaction, which was a hanky-panky, stinky-danky, blongy. He used this as revenge porn, which he then showed his sister because he wanted her to break up with her husband. Okay. So far, a bunch of things that are illegal. One is the oldest profession. Two is secretly recording people that are having spanky dangy. Three is revenge porn. All three of those things are illegal. He got caught doing it. He went to trial. He confessed guilt. He got convicted. And then Trump pardoned him. And then Trump said, you're going to be the ambassador of France.
But did anyone die? That's what they're going to say.
Probably, but I just want to know how you defend that. I really do. I really want to know. It's the only thing on my mind today is how do you defend that?
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. I don't care about nothing Hunter Biden did when you compare it to that. Speaking of which, Joe Biden is pardoning Hunter Biden. I disagree with this, but whatever. I can't say if I wasn't the president and my kid got arrested, I would, or my kid got a felony, that I wouldn't pardon them. Right.
I just don't see like, I mean, I've really, honestly, when I saw it, I was like, as he should, because what are rules anymore? What even the fuck matters anymore?
I mean, it definitely, he's definitely going out swinging. Biden said, I don't give a fuck. I don't care no more, bro. Y'all want me gone? I'm gone. I'm doing what I want to do beforehand, which is wild. So he's peacing out and he's going out with a vengeance. So if you're on Biden's shit list, be careful. But yeah, Trump choosing then Charles Kushner to be the ambassador to France is it's so insane, dude. It's so insane. This is why we're anti-MAGA in the morning, bro. This is why we're anti-MAGA in the morning. Christopher, don't be a little punk bitch. Join the live. Chris, do you agree or disagree with the prompts on the board?
Disagree with the Hunter Biden prompt by far.
Why?
Disagree with the Hunter Biden prompt by far.
Why?
How many times did we hear, what's her name, Karine Jean-Pierre? How many times did we hear her say that they're not going to pardon Hunter Biden? We heard it at least 10 times. I can probably pull up 10 clips of her saying that it was overuse of power.
Wait, do you agree that it was an overuse of power for Trump to pardon Charles Kushner?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you believe it was an overuse of power for Trump to also pardon like Dinesh, what was his name? Dinesh D'Souza? What about Charles Manafort?
Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon.
Okay, well, do you think it's an abuse of power? I heard you say that you didn't agree with it. So
yeah, I don't agree with him pardoning him just because I believe Hunter Biden should do time for the crime that he committed. But like at the end of the day, I can't say that if I was a parent, I wouldn't pardon my kid, right? Especially if the crime my kid was committed my kid was found guilty for didn't have any victims, right? If it was a victimless crime, I would definitely pardon my kid.
Do you think it's an overuse of power?
Do I think it's overuse of power? No, because it falls in the scope of power.
Do you think it's possibly unconstitutional because of family member?
No, because there's nothing in the Constitution about not being able to pardon your family members.
I also believe he's not the first one to do it.
Like, what do you know what Hunter Biden was convicted of?
Sorry, I went off the app. Partially, yes.
Okay. Well, so just so I can give you the full context, he was convicted of purchasing a gun and tax evasion.
Right, I knew the gun.
Yeah, for me, like those two things, like
The reason why I say unconstitutional is because you're going against the government when you're not paying taxes. You're hiding from the government.
What?
It's on a federal level.
Wait,
But that doesn't make something unconstitutional.
So you're one of those protest voters?
No, I just believe that they're both lying in the same bed at the end of the day. I mean, they're both
who'd you vote for in 2020?
fucking us. I didn't vote in 2020. I was just turned 18 in 2020.
So you just never voted?
No, but I'm registered.
So just real quick, I just want to point out real quick. Hold on, sorry. I just want to point out real quick. Nothing Biden's done is the only way to be unconstitutional is if you directly go against an amendment in the Constitution. Nothing he's done has gone against an amendment in the Constitution. And in fact, because he did something within his presidential powers, it's directly constitutional because the Supreme Court made the decision that presidents cannot be found liable for anything they do within the scope of presidential power. And pardons are within the scope of presidential power. The same Supreme Court ruling that made it so Donald Trump can escape culpability for like a bunch of the shit he did is what allows Joe Biden to do stuff like this.
I know they're gonna take this and like run with it for the next like 5 years.
They already are. But what's crazy is Donald Trump has issued family pardons. Charles Kushner was a family pardon. And I'm going to say right now, what Charles Kushner did, way worse than what Hunter Biden did. It's not even close. It's not even. And Charles Kushner was given a government position. Do you think, let me ask you a question, Chris. Do you think that somebody who hires how do I say this without breaking TOS guidelines, who hires a SMEX worker, who secretly records that SMEX worker and his brother-in-law, who then uses that as revenge porn, do you think that person should be anywhere near a government position?
No. I definitely, I don't know if I've stated this yet. I don't think that Trump is at all perfect. I don't like Trump. I just think that at the same time, I think that some of the things that Biden has done in the past, what has it been, almost a month now, has been a little bit questionable.
Okay, things such as what?
Did he not give, let me find the exact quote here. And just the thing for me with the prompt of the Biden prompt, or the pardoning Hunter, is because of how many times we have been told, just like many other things, and if it's in Trump administration or Biden administration, it's just we hear something for months to years on end, and then when it comes down to actually do business, things change.
Do you think
Democrats think that Hunter Biden shouldn't be pardoned?
Sure, yeah, but do you think it might be a response? Do you think Biden might be responding to what Trump is doing? Like, Trump has already issued pardons before he's even gotten into office. He's already told the people he's going to pardon who he's going to pardon. Do you think that he just saw this and said, "Okay, well, if he's going to do it, well, I guess I'm going to do it"? What's the point of
that doesn't make him better though?
Why does he have to be?
That's almost spiteful. That's almost childish. That doesn't make him any
why
better.
Why do the Democrats have to ignore the game that the Republicans play? Why do the Republicans get to do all this and the Democrats have to play what, the moral superior? I just feel like
I never said that they had to play more superior, but you said Donald Trump is the worst choice. So by saying that, at the same time, to me, they're both the worst choice. To me,
but wait, you agree that pardoning Hunter Biden is not as bad as pardoning Charles Kushner, correct?
Yeah.
But also,
yeah,
Kamala didn't pardon anybody. Like, why is she getting the blame for this?
She's not getting the blame by me, at least.
Well, you said both candidates were just as bad. You realize that Biden was running.
Yes.
Who's got the background?
It's nothing to do
Chris.
with
Chris, you got a lot of background echo. Can you just turn the volume down if you're on your phone?
Yes, sorry about that.
No problem.
Kamala, I could go on for why I don't like her, but it's really beyond some of her choices. It's some of the choices as vice president, but that's not why I'm here. I was here because I disagree with the prompt.
Well, if Kamala's never pardoned anybody and Trump pardoned somebody who committed SMEX crimes, wouldn't one of them be the worst choice? And wouldn't that worst choice be the person that committed SMEX crimes? In my opinion, at least.
I mean, yeah, you can say that, but at the end of the day, first of all, it's all, well, not necessarily Kushner, but at the end of the day, when you're looking at it from that standpoint of pardoning and you have personal relationships with someone, and same with, Biden and his son, you have to look at it as accused of. You know, you can't look at it as guilty. Because if you're looking at everyone as guilty when you're pardoning, then no one should be pardoned because they committed a crime.
What?
What?
What are you talking
That
about?
doesn't logically follow.
That doesn't make sense at all. How does it not make sense?
I'm confused
Okay.
by the sentence to begin with.
Yeah, say that one more time. Let me just make sure that I heard you right. Go ahead.
If someone is not accused, is what's the word?
Not guilty.
If someone is guilty,
Okay.
then you cannot look at them as you would if they were being tried still.
So let's go through this one step at a time. So pardoning, right? Would imply that somebody's guilty. Yeah.
Being charged.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the pardoning process is only exclusive to people. Like, how would you pardon somebody that's innocent? I don't see how that logically follows. Because then it wouldn't be a pardon at that point. Kind of confused, man. You're kind of not holding up the Chris name over here, buddy.
Oh yeah, we do have double Chris.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Got to represent. You know that pardon's only for people
I did that on
who are
purpose.
guilty.
But again, I'm just going to throw this out there again. I think pardoning Hunter Biden. Oh, he left.
No, I don't have my phone.
Damn.
Don't bring your pen. When it died. When it gets charged, you can have it.
Good morning, Christina. I don't know if you meant to request.
We have a ton of Chris's and Christophers in the chat today. That's kind of wild.
Also, again, I can open up the YouTube chat. I think it will work. I think I found a different way to route the audio, which is much easier. So I could allow a YouTuber to call in and y'all would experience what I experience on a daily basis. But I would have to do I'd have to know for sure. I would hope it works.
Chris, come back.
Chris is gone.
As soon as he found out that you can't pardon innocent people, then he dipped.
All right. I don't know that Christina meant to request, so I'm gonna drop. Let me let me open up the call-in line and put the call-in line on the screen on YouTube. And if they want to call in, they can ring. But I don't. We're gonna have to test to see if it works, basically. Anybody remember what my call-in number is? Oh, here it is. Okay. Sheesh. Is this it? That's not it. Hold on, squad. We're moving, squad. We're moving. Here it is. Where should I put it? I'll just put it right here. All right. If you want to try calling in on the YouTube, feel free and I'll see if it works. The number's on the screen. If you guys want to cry so hard, if you don't want to be punk baby conservatives, feel free. And I'll see if it'll allow TikTok and YouTube to talk to each other. It should. But there's no guarantee. I love when YouTubers go, your opinion doesn't matter. This guy said, you're a fat black communist. True. Wearing cat ears. True. So yeah, your opinion matters. It does. Oh, shit. Hello, are you here to debate? Hello? Hello? Well, that one didn't work. You're in cat ears. Your opinion don't mean shit. True.
I really kind of miss Chris, man. I feel like we were getting to the bottom of this, man. He did have to go. I'm sad now.
Yeah, I don't know where he. I don't know why he left.
45 degrees in Texas. It's cold in Alexa's heart.
All right, let's try this one. Hello, you here to debate? Hello. Hello. Oh, hold on. That's what happened. Hold on. Oh, wait. No, it should be working. Hello. Oh, hold on. That's why. Hold on. Actually, give me a second. Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. You there?
I am. Okay. Let's see. First and foremost, Chris and Alina, do you hear the caller?
Yes.
Yeah.
Caller, do you hear the other guests?
I do.
Oh shit!
Let's go.
I made it work, bro. Why? Because I'm a fucking genius. Caller, do you disagree with? First, what's your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, so my name is Taylor. I'm 22 years old. He, him. I live in Florida. Somewhere in the middle, but I call myself more conservative than liberal. But I do disagree with a few of the points you guys were making.
All right, he disagrees with some of the points we're making. What points do you disagree with?
Yeah, so I don't think Biden or Harris are really better for America than Trump is. And I don't really agree with what communism is, the ideals behind that. Karl Marx was not really the best person. He had an obsession with Satan. He was a poet. A lot of people don't know that, but he wrote a lot of dark poetry, and I don't know, just not really the best person. But the reason that he wrote the Communist Manifesto was not really to create a whole new party. It was really to destroy all the values that we already have, good or bad. So I don't really agree with what Karl Marx had to say, sort of thing.
I don't feel like you read the Communist Manifesto at all. I don't think you've read any of Karl Marx's work.
I haven't read it, but I have gone over it and I've watched videos about it and stuff like that. But he did have an obsession with the devil. So I'm not really going to follow anybody who aligns themselves with Satan.
Did you read any poems?
I don't know. I know that one of his favorite quotes was from Mephistopheles. Let me see if I can pull that up. You guys know who that is?
Yeah. I'm just going to throw this out there. Having read so much of Marx's work, he doesn't have an obsession with the devil.
Is that even found in the Communist Manifesto? Anyway?
It's not found in any of his economic writing now.
What?
So I believe that his favorite quote from Faust, let me see if I can get it somewhere.
Faust is an opera.
So everything that exists deserves to perish. That was Marx's favorite line.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not really going to align myself with a political ideologist that's his favorite line. I don't really think that's good for society.
Bro, what?
Wait.
Because he has a favorite line from an opera?
Everything that exists deserves to perish. And you're going to align yourselves with a political ideology.
What does that quote mean? What does that quote mean?
Context.
It doesn't. It means exactly what it says. Everything that exists deserves to perish. All of the ideals of a moral society, this and that, is all bullshit.
What is? Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you? This isn't even trickle down Tuesday, but whatever. Can you just tell me what communism is? Like, what was it that Marx actually wanted?
I would say the elimination of past ideals, past authority. I'm not really sure.
What were those past ideals? What were those?
Government.
It's not a government, it's an economic system.
The simplest definition is it's a way of creating and sharing wealth. But I don't really think that it's a fair system, in all honesty.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. I'll just do the education part instead of trying to lead the horse to water and make it drink. I think it'd just be easier to let the rain fall. So first of all, if you guys want a commie cunt t-shirt, it is available in my merch store, jovanbradley.com. Second of all, when communism is just an economic system which proposes that private property be abolished, specifically bourgeois private property, which would be the private property of the owner class, which would be the means of production. It's saying that the means of production shouldn't be privatized, it should be public, and that everybody in the community should be able to own the means of production. That's communism in its most basic form. It says nothing else about almost anything else. Okay? That's like all it really is it's an economic system. So everything else, not there. It's not in the writings.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I wouldn't follow anybody whose favorite character was Mephistopheles per se, and that was his favorite quote. I mean, that says a lot about his personality.
Bro, so
Obviously,
wait, real quick. So if somebody told you they're running for president, but their favorite character in Star Wars is Darth Vader, you'd be like, "Oh, not a fan of you. I'm not voting for you," because they like Space
Darth
Schmittler.
Vader and the devil are, I would say, are very different characters.
Darth Vader killed
the
what?
Devil is
Darth Vader
basically
killed
the
babies.
antithesis of all evil. The devil is the antithesis of all evil.
Darth Vader was the antithesis of all evil. He killed younglings. He was literally Space Hitler. He blew up planets.
So if someone's running for president and their favorite quote was someone for Darth Vader, no, I wouldn't vote for them because they're not
It's
a good
just
person.
a really weird, reason to not vote for somebody, bro. It's just a really weird reason not to vote for somebody.
Who did you vote for?
I wouldn't align myself politically or ideologically with anyone that's anti-society. And I don't think communism has worked out for society in any country. Can you think of an example that communism has worked out?
Yeah, tons of them. Every indigenous society that's ever existed.
They were communists?
They lived. They had no private property, which is what communism calls for. In fact, Marx and Engels, the writers of the
They read the Communist Manifesto, and
Marx and Engels looked at their society and then wrote the Communist Manifesto. They based most of communism on indigenous tribes.
Manifesto, what countries have like taken on that system, and the countries are doing better now?
Cuba.
No.
Cuba's doing pretty good.
Also,
I'm thinking of China, Cuba, Laos, Vietnam, North Korea. Like, you think those are
North Korea is not communist. They're Juche. They have their own economic system. Vietnam was destroyed like entirely by the United States and forced into capitalism, so they're not communist either. China's market socialist right now. They're moving towards a socialist society, but they're currently market socialist. So they're socialist with a capitalist market. So I don't know why I would label any of these countries communist.
Also, guest, do you also forget there's this thing that happened called colonization that kind of messed a lot of things up? And the United States played a big part in destabilizing the Middle East and Latin America. So are we just going to glance over that claim?
No, definitely. I definitely think that's a reality, but that's not what we're arguing.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask just real quick, Chris. I just want to know, who did you vote for? Who did you vote for in the 2024 election?
So I wasn't going to vote at all. But last minute, I decided to vote for Donald Trump.
Okay. So you wouldn't follow Karl Marx because he's a bad person, but you'd vote for Donald Trump even though he's a bad person.
I don't think. Yeah, I think that Trump is better for the country than Harris is, to be honest.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about a person's morals, just if the systems they want to put through are better.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember what book?
To a certain extent, I don't think Donald Trump is the star candidate. He's definitely not my number one. There's definitely thousands upon hundreds of other people that I would want over him or her. I think they're both like very. I don't know the word. They pull people apart.
So you don't like people that read the Communist Manifesto, but Trump's one of his favorite books, Me and Kampf? Like, I'm confused. What universe do we live in right now?
Yeah, Trump's ex-wife told their lawyers that he kept Schmittler's book on his nightstand and would read it at night.
Yeah, that's I don't know how true that is, but that's bad if that's true.
I mean, his ex-wife told it to lawyers in like divorce case, so like she was under oath. He didn't dispute it. He didn't say no,
Yeah,
that
I don't
didn't
think-
happen.
No, I definitely don't think that Trump is like the best person for America, but I pick him over Harris every day of the week.
Okay, so again, you don't care if someone's a bad person as long as you believe that their system will make life better. Then you don't care if that person's a bad person.
I'm not saying I don't care if that person's a bad person, but I'm telling you that over those two, over the less, I pick the lesser of two evils.
I just think it's
Now,
interesting
if
that
it's
you've
supposed to
demonized
communism
Marx
versus
because of a
if you're gonna keep
quote.
cutting me off, we can't have a conversation, man.
Well, I'm going to respond to what you just said, which was, I think it's weird that you demonize Marx for a quote, and you're going, well, communism is bad, Marx is bad because Marx liked a quote from an opera, but Trump reading Schmittler fan fiction, you're like, nah, that's cool.
No, I don't demonize Marx. I just think I'm not gonna align myself with his political ideology if his favorite quote is from the devil and he had an obsession with the devil. You say that he didn't, but he wrote so much poetry about the devil in The Prince of Darkness.
Give me one of those poems. Give me one of those poems.
I mean, I don't have them with me, but I could probably find you one right now.
Sure, do it. Like, because someone wrote poetry about the devil, now all of a sudden, what? Should I demonize everybody that wrote the Bible?
Poetry about the devil, I'm not gonna.
So Edgar Allan Poe, Edgar Allan Poe was bad.
I see the argument you're trying to make. That I wouldn't align myself with Marx, so why would I align myself with Trump? But I'm not aligning myself with Trump. I'm just saying that I would pick him over Harris. So your argument is kind of a fallacy.
I guess we shouldn't like the guy who wrote that episode of Futurama where the devil plays on the like fiddle. I guess we shouldn't
you can still watch the episode, but I wouldn't.
But it's writing about the devil.
It's your choice.
You said that's bad.
It's your choice to do that or not. You're trying to convince me that communism is right.
Well, you didn't know what communism was. How can you know if it's right or wrong when you didn't know what it was? No, you didn't. You told me incorrectly what it was. I had to tell you what it was. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Jess. You just said that you denounce Marxism and Karl Marx because you said he's quoting, you claim the devil in poetry. What is Mein Kampf doing?
That has nothing to do with Karl Marx. That has nothing to do with this conversation.
No, I didn't say it had anything. It doesn't. I know. What is Mein Kampf? Why is Mein Kampf? What is that? What is the premise of that book? What is the premise of Schmittler's entire legacy?
Genocide, the Aryan race is superior than all of the races.
Right, nailing it. Okay, so you are more concerned about praising, by many people's standards, and a fictional character, i.e. the devil, versus praising and idolizing a real character in history who you just by your own definition said was genocidal, believed in, white supremacy, right? Is that correct?
I see the argument you're trying to make, but it's not Marx versus Donald Trump. And I don't support Donald Trump. I don't support anything he says or does. I just said that I would vote for him over Harris. That doesn't mean that I support by what I don't support.
Quick thing. You're right. Harris is not Marx. So you're right. It is not Marx versus Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump. It is fascism versus lukewarm moderate Democrat. That's what it is. That's actually what it is by every standard.
Also, if we're gonna keep it a buck, I mean, Christian nationalism is pretty poisonous to society, and Trump used that as a as kind of like a background point for his rallies. I mean, yeah. Let's throw the Marx stuff out the window because you don't know enough about Karl Marx's writing to have this conversation. No, this isn't a dig or anything. You already told me you never read the Communist Manifesto. You've probably never read Das Kapital.
I have zero interest in reading it.
Yeah, so you can't have the conversation. Honestly. You physically can't have the conversation because you don't know what the work says. Everything you say is uninformed. So you're like, it's actively ignorant. So you can't have the conversation. If you don't know what it is, if you don't know what the terms mean, if you don't know what communism is, if you don't know what socialism is, if you don't know what Marx actually wrote about, you
I
can't
don't
have the
need to know what
conversation.
something is to know that it's bad or know that it's not good. If I can read between the lines and
You
tell you
didn't
that
read
something is
it.
not good for society, then I can tell
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Like, I don't need to
No,
know.
everybody
I don't
be
need to
quiet.
read-
Everybody, every
You need to
person
read
on
the
the
Bible.
every person in the live, be quiet. The
You
phrase
need to
that
read
was
the Bible
just
front and back
said.
to tell me
The
that it's
phrase,
BS.
yes,
You
I
need
would
to
need
read
to.
the whole
Yes,
Bible to tell me that
I.
it's wrong.
No, but I would need
And
to
have you
have
read it?
read. Yes, I've read the Bible. Yeah, I would need to have
read the whole
read the
Bible?
book. Yes, I would need to have read the book to critique it.
What's the
Yes.
book about Ephesians about?
I don't remember every part about the Bible. The Bible's fucking
So
huge.
you read the whole thing.
Yes, but I don't remember, bro. Do you know how long it's been since I read the
Then
whole
we can't
Bible?
have this conversation. I don't think we can have this
Wait,
conversation.
I've
then,
read
because
more.
you're
I've
obviously
read
not
more of
informed.
the Bible than you've read of any Marx. I've read way more of the Bible than you've read.
So-
What is? Let me ask you a question. What's
Okay,
the
so
story of
what's
the
the
sheep and the
Ephesians about?
goats? What's the story of the sheep and the goats?
Why are you asking me?
What's the story?
I'm asking
Because
you.
apparently you're the Bible expert. What's the story of the sheep and the goats?
Which story of the sheep and goat? When the goat
There's
goes
one,
away?
nope. There's one story about the sheep and the goats. Matthew 25. What is it? Don't open the book, but tell me what it is.
No, I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm
So
not
shut the
claiming to
fuck
know the
up.
Bible.
What? Come on, dude.
But what I'm telling
That
you,
was
look,
so
you just made
stupid,
the
bro.
argument that I didn't read the whole communist.
You didn't
Manifesto,
read
so I shouldn't
any
be able
of
to
it.
talk
You
about it.
haven't read
Bro,
any Marx. I have read the Bible. You haven't read
we can't
any
have
of
a
Marx.
conversation if every time that I talk, one of you guys starts talking.
I'm
We can't
addressing
have a
what you
conversation
said.
like that. You're telling me that I need to read the whole Communist Manifesto to tell you that it's
You
wrong.
need to read
Which-
any of
okay,
it. You
that's
need
fair.
to read
Let
any
me
of
finish.
it.
Let me finish.
You need
Let
to
me
read
finish,
any
bro.
of it, friend.
Let me
Any
finish.
of it.
Let me finish. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
It
it
doesn't matter.
does.
You don't need to read the entirety of work to say that you don't agree with it.
You need
I
to
don't
read
need to read
any
the
of
whole
the
Quran
work.
to tell
You need to read
I don't
any
wanna
of
read
it. You
it.
didn't
I
read
don't
any
agree
of it, dog. You read none of it. You didn't even read one sentence.
Okay,
Right.
so what? I don't want to.
So that's why I know you can't tell me anything about it. You
So
weren't even
here's-
able to define communism. How do you debate
told-
something you don't know what it is? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so for like example, Jovan gave me that reading assignment about 3 weeks ago, right? And you know, I come with an open mind. I'm through about 1/3 of it, and currently I'm only learning about the structure of the proletariat versus the bourgeoisie right now, right? So this would be the equivalent of what Trump promotes, income inequality, right? So nothing in this book so far, you know, it's just telling me, okay, what's the relationship between why, you know, capitalism doesn't work and why there's big income inequality between the terms they call proletariat and bourgeoisie, right? There's like nothing inherently evil in here right now. It's just an overlay. It's called just
Yeah, I don't think
informing
Wait, how I just want to know, like, how is it, like, okay, I've read the Bible from front to back. I actually taught Sunday school for 10 years. Like, I'm a former Southern Baptist. So I'm just curious, to you, do you have to learn and read something to recognize why you disagree or agree with it? Like, the fact that you're taking your decisions about an idea, namely Marxism, but based on solely what you've heard, based solely on rhetoric around Marxism, is the epitome of incompetency. No offense, because you're proving that you don't feel like you have to actually be educated on it firsthand. You can just take the word of people that you, I guess, idolize, or maybe, you know, share values with, or whatever. As someone who literally taught the Bible and knows the Bible, I can tell you that you probably don't know shit compared to me. Like, I bet you don't know what Numbers 5:11 says. You know, can you quote John 3:16? I'm curious, because that's like the most basic. So, like, it's the fact that you're in a chat condemning something that you refuse to educate yourself firsthand on. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand the gist of what you're saying, but I will say that I don't need to read the whole Communist Manifesto.
You haven't read
because
any of it.
believe,
You've admitted you've read none of it.
All right.
You've admitted you've read none of
okay,
it.
I let all of you talk for like 10 minutes without cutting you off. And every time I try to start talking, you guys just start talking. So I can't, we can't have this talk, because every time I try to start talking, you guys just start talking.
Hold on, really quick. Hold on, Jess. Hold on, really quick. Yeah. When you respond to the things we say, my guy, when you say I don't need to read any of it, or I don't need to read all of it, implies that you've read some of it. but you've already told us you've read none of it. So we don't like when your response is disingenuous.
How is it? What do you mean disingenuous? What do you mean?
Did you? Okay, we'll walk. Did you read any of the Communist Manifesto?
No.
So when you respond that I don't need to read all of it, implies that you've read some of it. That would be the disingenuous factor.
I keep trying to point to you.
Okay,
Don't make a statement like you're making as if you have any firsthand education on it when you've already openly admitted, again, just now, you've never read it. That's the point.
Can I make a point?
Yeah,
I think
exactly. And I don't need to read it to see that countries that have tried to follow those set of rules have gone to shit. And I can't think of one country that's actually like doing well because of those laws.
Okay.
A lot of countries.
Hold on, Chris.
Listen. A lot of countries and people have been fucked over by Karl Marx's ideas. The people of China, like I could go on listing hundreds of thousands of people that have been murdered by the communist regime. Like, what about the Soviet Union? What about that?
So great. We can do this. And I can list you millions upon millions that have been killed by capitalist countries. So do you want to go band for band? Because we can.
I'm not in support of capitalism, though.
But if your issue, hold on, if your issue with
trying to make me capitalist, Trump, this and that, I'm not.
Bro,
I'm just anti-Marxist. I'm anti-communism.
Okay, hold on.
Trying to make
Tell me the specific parts of the ideology of communism that you are opposed to.
I don't think poor people should be taken care of if they're not like working and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't think that's the main thing. I don't think wealth should be redistributed. I think that the system that we have now is good, and I think that communism allows for a lot of like our rights to be taken away, like it has in other countries.
Just confirming,
happen again and again.
Just confirming your issue. We're going to start with the very first thing you said. You don't think people should be taken care of if they don't work. That is something that you believe.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Okay. What is the Marx quote about how we distribute needs? You won't know, so let me tell you. From each, according to their ability, to each, according to their need. This is direct quote of Marx, which is saying everyone must give what they can and work to the ability they have so that they can receive what they need. Marx directly says in the Communist Manifesto, the book you refuse to read, that you must contribute to receive. So this is why I've said you can't have this conversation, because something you're against when it comes to communism is directly written into communism. The thing you're against, or the thing that you want to be there, is there. So this is my issue.
So what I said was the redistribution of wealth. So you're saying the redistribution of wealth doesn't exist in a communist system?
No,
so
what you said specifically,
if the U.S. was a communist country
what
right
you
now,
said,
what
you're trying to move the goalpost. The first thing you said was people should not be taken care of unless they work. And then I specifically clarified that with you. I said, is this something you believe, that if people don't work, they shouldn't be taken care of? You said yes. The redistribution of wealth is something totally different. It's a different point that we'll get to. But you said yes to this, so don't try to move the goalpost now. I specifically clarified.
Okay, cool. So communism doesn't take care of people that don't want to do shit for themselves. Cool. I agree with that.
If you do not work, you do not reap the benefits. You have to be able to. You have to contribute to the community in whatever way you can, based on your ability, in order to reap the benefits of communal living. That's key tenet number one.
United States. What would that look like for?
It would look like you having to contribute labor. So like you might have to work a day or two a week. And then if you've worked that day or two a week doing some form of job that benefits the community, you then get food and water and shelter and healthcare and education.
What's an example? what's an example of a country or like sort of place that has used that sort of system and it's worked out well for them? Besides
Cuba.
the old Native American
That works
traditional
out.
societies
Cuba.
or societies like that.
Cuba. It's working out for the Cubans right now.
So can I ask him like one thing, like one or two things, because I see some holes in this. So hold on a second. You're unwilling to acknowledge that all this stuff worked historically all the way up to colonization. By the way, people that use the Bible that you read to ethnically cleanse, North America and South America, like you do realize that the United States and other capitalist countries have thrown a wrench into other people's nations, and then you come around and say that it was never the West's fault, it was always communism's fault when colonization led to the destabilization. Like, that's just historically and intellectually dishonest.
Did I make that point once? You guys keep trying to say that I'm like pro this, pro Christian, the West, da da da. I never said any of that. All I'm saying is that I don't follow communism. I wouldn't follow it. I don't want to read it. I have no interest in it. The countries that have followed that thing are shit. You just said Cuba is following it right now. Have you looked at Cuba's like financial report and shit like that?
Yeah. Why is hey friend? Why is Cuba's economy bad?
You tell me.
Because the U.S. has had sanctions and embargoes on Cuba since this.
Why do you live in the U.S. if the U.S. is so bad?
I love. This is why I said you're not genuine. Address the argument. It doesn't matter where I live. Has the U.S. had Cuba under embargoes and sanctions for 70 years? Yes or no?
Yes, but yes.
Yes, we are, because you just said Cuba's economy is bad. You said Cuba's finances are bad. The reason would be because the U.S. has had a targeted effort to destroy Cuba economically. It has done real damage to their economy, and yet, when we look at all of the metrics, Cuba has more doctors per capita than the U.S. In fact, Cuba has so many doctors that they send their doctors to other countries because they're like, hey, go help this other country because we have a plethora of you here. Why do they have so many doctors? Because education's fucking free in Cuba. So people that want to be doctors can go get educated and become a doctor. Two, Cuba, even when we look at, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm going to finish. Because the United States has been destroying Cuba's economy. So it's hard for certain facts of Cuba, but not because Cuba is bad, because the U.S. has been destroying their economy. If I burn down your house, would I blame you for that? If I lit your house on fire, would I go, well, maybe you shouldn't have put your house there. Shouldn't have put your house where my fire was. No, that would be stupid, right? Okay. So let's keep going in the metrics here. Let's keep going. Hold on, let's keep going. Cuba also has a higher life expectancy than the U.S. People in Cuba live longer than people in the United States do. Cuba also has a lower infant mortality rate. Babies die less in Cuba. You know why? Because they have a bunch of doctors. And when we look at their healthcare system, they beat us on a bunch of fucking metrics. Cuba has 100% literacy rate because education is free. And everybody in Cuba knows how to read and write. They have 100% literacy rate. This is via the World Bank. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Impressive. I just looked that up. Impressive.
Everything that I'm saying right now is verified by independent information. It's not even just because Cuba says so. It's been verified. You want me to? I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it on the screen. Hold on.
That doesn't.
I'll put it on the screen. I don't mind.
But if Cuba is so good, right, then why don't we all just go live there? If these communist countries are so good and their doctors are so good and people live seems so great, let's go live there.
You didn't listen to a word you just said. Oh my gosh. This is the same concept as Israel and Palestine, right? You're like, why don't people live in Palestine? It's because literally you have a country that is oppressing it right now. Same thing with Cuba. The United States has dropped the hammer on them economically for 70 years. Did you not listen to anything that he just said?
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna put it on screen real quick. I'm gonna give a history lesson real quick on Cuba. This is for everybody listening. So when it comes to Cuba, hold on, I need to mute that too. When it comes to Cuba, there was a memorandum from the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State of Inter-American Affairs to the Assistant Secretary of State for Inter-American Affairs. This was in 1960. What happened around 1960? The Cuban embargo. Specifically, the subject, the decline and fall of Castro. Salient considerations respecting the life of the present Cuban government of Cuba are, so this is how Cuba was in the 60s. The majority of Cubans support Castro. The lowest estimate I have seen is 50%. So Cubans widely loved Castro. Widely. You know why? Because Castro took Cuba out of a absolutely devastating economy that the United States put them in when the United States occupied Cuba in 1989 and occupied them. I'm sorry, not 1989. I'm sorry, 1889. I'm sorry, when the U.S. occupied Cuba in 1889 through to 1950. Now, when Castro came into power, the United States controlled 90% of Cuba's electric and phone services. They controlled 70% of all arable land in Cuba. They 2/3 of Cuba's sugar production and 50% of all railroads in Cuba. 3% of Cuban farmers owned the farm they worked on when the United States was occupying them, again, from 1889 to 1950. And only 2/3 of the population was literate. Life expectancy was also 59 years under U.S. occupation of Cuba. Okay, 59 years. And this was with the U.S. supporting the Batista dictatorship. Okay, so then Castro comes in, takes back Cuba for the Cubans, and we see things start to get better. And the U.S. didn't like this because Cuba was a stronghold for them. So they said majority of Cubans support Castro. This is, again, directly from the Assistant Secretary of State. There is no effective political opposition in Cuba. Why? Because the Cubans widely supported Castro. They didn't care. Fidel Castro and other members of the Cuban government espouse or condone communist influence. Communist influence is pervading the government and the body politic at an amazingly fast rate. Militant opposition to Castro from without Cuba would only serve his and the communist cause, and the only foreseeable means of alienating internal support is through disenchantment and disaffection based on economic dissatisfaction and hardship. So the United States knew that Castro was widely supported. They knew that Castro was making life better for the Cubans, and they said the only way, because us coming in is just going to make them rally around him more. The only way that we can stop Cuba is to cause economic dissatisfaction and hardship. So much to the point that they said, if the above are accepted and cannot be successfully countered, it follows that every possible means should be undertaken promptly to weaken the economic life of Cuba. If such a policy is adopted, it should be the result of a positive decision which would call forth the line of action which, while as adroit and inconspicuous as possible, so that means doing it where nobody notices this, we got to make it inconspicuous, makes the greatest inroads in denying money and supplies to Cuba to decrease monetary and real wages, to bring about hunger, desperation, and overthrow of the government. So directly from the desk of the United States Assistant Secretary of State, they understood that the only way to get their foothold back in Cuba, because they wanted control of the land again, they wanted control of the farms, they wanted Cuba as a foothold so that they could get to the rest of Latin America. The only way to do this was to decrease monetary and real wages, to make Cubans hungry and desperate, and try to get them to overthrow their government. None of this worked, by the way. They attempted over 600 assassinations of Fidel Castro. Nothing they did worked. The Cubans stood behind him. Today, Cubans still love Castro.
That's false.
It is not false.
I have many Cuban friends, and every single one of them and their families hated him and his
Cubans
regime,
that
and
came,
of them
the Cubans,
fled during, all right, if
yep,
you
the
keep
Cubans
talking
that
while I'm
fled,
talking, man,
because you're spouting misinformation, so I'm going to correct you.
We can't have this conversation, man.
Because you're spouting misinformation.
My friends that are Cuban,
fine, let him talk. Hold on, let him talk. Let him talk.
Immigrants that have left over do not like him. They celebrated in Miami and Cuba when he died. Did you know that?
Yep.
Millions of people celebrated when he died. Do you know how many people he killed?
Yep. Not many.
Do you know
not many. Not many, actually.
Not many?
Yes. Do you know what the first Cuban migration was? Do you know what the first Cuban migration was? Do you know what the causes of the first Cuban migration were?
I do not.
Great. So the large amount of Cubans that exist in the United States are from the first Cuban migration and those people's family. The first Cuban migration happened because do you know that in Cuba, when the U.S. was in charge, during, the racist time in the US that Cuban farmers also had slaves and that Cuban plantations also had slave work of black Cubans. And when Castro took over, he said, we're not going to keep these black Cubans as slaves anymore. You cannot have your country clubs have incorrect or not incorrect. You cannot allow these country clubs to have slaves. You cannot disbar black Cubans from getting there. You can't do any of this. And the wealthy Cuban farm owners said, well, we don't like this, right? The people that were following Batista and all that, they said, we don't like this. And Castro said, then leave. And guess what they did? They left. That's where the first migration came from. They left Cuba because Castro told them you can't have slaves anymore. And he didn't go around saying, I'm going to blow you to bits. He let them leave. That's why they got here in the first place. It's literally called the first, is it called the Great Cuban Migration or whatever it's called? He literally said, you can leave because we're not going to do racism anymore.
I'm cool with that.
I'm sorry. It's called Cuban Exodus. It's called the Cuban Exodus. That's what it was.
Can I read a source from Pew Research Institute? Because I think this actually tells the story, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, global views on Castro and Cuba. So, all the countries I'm going to list, right, are the ones that are in that have always been in favor of his leadership, and the two that don't are going to be very surprising, right? So it says, while Americans have an overwhelmingly negative view of Castro, and to include Canada, attitudes in many Latin American countries are far more favorable to the longtime Cuban leader and finds it productive. This study was from 2024 to 1998. So, yeah, so the countries that think that Castro was only beneficial was Bolivia, Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Venezuela, Chile, and Mexico. But the two countries that thought that they were bad was the US and Canada. So the only ones that thought that Castro was actually bad were the people that slapped a sanction on him. Latin America, for the most part, thinks that he did a good job.
Okay. Looking at that, I mean, you can look up whatever stat you want online to tell you whatever they said. But I've talked to Cubans. I have friends with Cubans. My ex-girlfriend was a Cuban.
Yes,
her dad literally escaped on a rat.
Wait. Just curious. Can you just recognize that? Do you? Can I ask like what ethnicity you are or race you are?
Yeah, why?
I'm just curious. Can you tell me?
It has nothing to do with the conversation.
No, it does actually. Can you just tell me, please?
I'm half Indian.
You're mixed race. Okay. Do you believe that other people that are mixed race share your exact ideals and values, or do you recognize that you're not a monolith as a race or an ethnicity?
What do you mean by share my same values? What do you mean?
So what I'm saying is you recognize that ethnicities and races are not a monolith. So in other words, we have a diverse, white people, black people, indigenous people, they don't share the same brain values and ideals. They are not a monolith. Would you agree to that statement? Yes or no?
The different people share different values. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, so why is it that you are invoking your anecdotal evidence of a friend or former girlfriend to basically denounce the statistics and data being brought forth to you by the populace of Cuban individuals?
Millions of people, millions.
So, like, do you know what I'm saying?
A fair
like,
point.
you are discrediting. You're discrediting all of this data. Okay. I mean, you kind of are. You're literally saying, I know people, and then no. You're saying I know people and discrediting the statistics that are being introduced to you.
Because I do know people who have the exact opposite opinion as that. Okay, so even though the fact might say that, the chart might say that, whatever. I won't say every, but the majority of Cubans that I know, and I live in a place with a lot of Cubans. I live in Orlando, Florida. There's a lot of Cubans that live with us.
I'm gonna give some facts real quick.
Anti-Castro.
I'm gonna give some facts real quick.
They are against Castro.
I'm gonna give some facts real quick.
And
so, Cuba, until 1959, Cuba was primarily a country of immigration. During the Spanish colonial period, which was 1492 to 1898, which remember, 1898 is the year that Spain colonies left and the U.S. took over the occupation, African slaves and Spanish settlers largely replaced the island's indigenous population. So the country was filled with African slaves. They largely took over and filled the country with African slaves. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean when you guys are talking about like the Cuban migration and the exodus out of Cuba. It is because Castro was telling rich Cubans, you can't have slaves anymore. You cannot have slaves in our country anymore.
That's a gross generalization. You can't just say that. Okay, maybe the first immigration was the majority reason why Cubans left. Yeah, that's fair. But that doesn't mean that that's the reason why the majority of Cubans fled to Florida.
Large-scale refugee flows began with the dismantling of the Batista regime. The people that left when the Batista regime toppled were Batista supporters. Most of the exiles moved to the mainland United States, but the majority. But some relocated to Spain, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Venezuela. Right? The Batista regime toppled, and these people left the country.
So thousands of Cuban immigrants left on rafts because they weren't allowed to have slaves anymore?
Because they were Batista supporters.
They escaped naked, like malnourished, whatever, on rafts, and thousands of them died in the rafts. How dare you disrespect them? How dare you say that?
How dare you be historically illiterate? How dare you be historically illiterate? I'm giving you the fucking facts with fucking evidence. Don't fucking he hung up, by the way. The fucking virtue signal at the end there because you don't like fucking facts is crazy.
That just means that you like slavery. Then, like, okay, they left because okay, cool, be gone for me. If you want to slave other people, if you want to leave, fine, that's fine. We don't do that over there.
Absolute.
I would have appreciated getting to talk to him since I am Cuban and I have a different opinion than the other Cubans that he talks to. But
hey, real quick. The Golden Exile. Let's go through the Golden Exile just really quick. I wanna just so everybody knows that I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I don't play this shit. The first post-revolutionary migrant wave from 1959 to 1962, which was the first large-scale movement of Cubans out of Cuba, has been dubbed the Golden Exile because most refugees came from the upper and middle strata of Cuban society. Members of this cohort prefer to describe themselves as historical exiles. The majority were urban, middle-aged, well-educated, light-skinned, and white-collar workers. Most were born in the largest cities, particularly Havana. Many fled for political or religious reasons, fearing persecution by the revolutionary government. During this period, about 1,600 and 1,700 Cubans arrived in the United States per week, or commercial airlines and the U.S. government admitted approximately 248,100 Cubans. One dramatic episode during the period, that's Operation Petropan. It's not important. But again, it was the wealthy, light-skinned racists who were kicked out. And again, Castro said you can leave. That's the crazy part. He didn't force them. He said you can get with the system or you can leave. And what did they choose to do? They chose to leave. Chose to leave. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Really quickly, I do need to do some housekeeping. So thank you, Caitlin, for the Cash App, getting us started with our tipping. Remember that this show is completely fan funded. I get no corporate sponsors of any kind. If you want to support the show, Cash App and Venmo are in the bio. You can support the show that way. You can also support the show by purchasing merch. My merch store is jovanbradley.com, where you can purchase merch of any kind, shape, or form. You can do that as well if you'd like to. Also, just a reminder to gift the panelists. The panelists are here as well. If you're on TikTok, you can gift the panelists, and the panelists will get gifts for that and all that stuff. Number one, Jared Hader said, "Have you ever gotten a sponsorship, or has anyone ever asked?" No, I'm a leftist. I'm anti-capitalism. I don't think I'm ever going to get a sponsorship, bro. That'd be crazy. So yeah, support the show if you want to see morning lives continue to happen. Is there anybody in the guest request on TikTok that disagrees? If not, I'm gonna bring in. I'll open up the call-in line for YouTube again if YouTube wants to call in. I don't know who might disagree on the TikTok. Total Recall. Do you agree or disagree? Hello? 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 All right. Hey, Vicky. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Vicky. Can we get a big baddie W to Vicky in the box for the Cash App? Not in the box, but in the chat. Can we get a big baddie in the spot with the Cash App?
Good morning.
Morning. All right, I guess I'll open up the call-in line again. So if anybody on YouTube wants to call in, now would be the chance. If you disagree with any of the topics on the board, since it doesn't look like many people on TikTok agree. But we do have a lot of friendlies, so we need to be.
I have a question. I had an ethical question about communism.
Is it a serious question?
Yeah.
Okay. Caller, you gotta wait a second, okay?
I could have waited. Darn, sorry. Okay. But my question is, under communism, does it, when it says like everyone's needs are met, does that include animals? Like, would you have to be vegan morally or ethically speaking under communism?
No.
Especially
Communism doesn't make any proclaims about veganism or anything. No.
Right, but could we say that under the basis argument of everyone's needs are met, is it only people? Because under communism, being like far left ideology would also include things like environmental protections, right? Like also caring about the environment and the animals, right?
Well,
leftists care about in general.
That would be if you're adding communist ideals onto other things, but communism doesn't make any claims about like environmental thing. They just say that like capitalism will naturally destroy the environment because capitalists don't really care about the environment. But like if you wanted, there are environmental communists who do view communism from an environmental lens, and I'm sure there are vegan communists, right? But it doesn't inherently say anything about those unless you view animals as people.
I just wanted to make sure I could still say I'm a communist and not be like like hypocritical because I eat meat. Okay, good. I'm still eat my burgers. Okay, cool. That was it.
Okay. All right, caller on the YouTube. What is your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Lexi, age over 30, she, her.
Okay, and do you disagree with the topics on the board?
I disagree with some of them.
Okay, like what?
Donald Trump is the worst choice.
Do you think there's somebody worse?
I definitely believe Kamala Harris is much worse than Donald Trump.
You believe Harris is worse than Donald Trump? Okay, why so?
I do. Her history and track record as the Attorney General in California, where she specifically targeted minorities to put them in longer jail sentences.
Didn't happen.
I don't know.
Got started, Jovan. Like, I don't even understand. Like, this is like, I mean, is it just right-wing media? Is that all it is?
Yeah, this is just her record as a prosecutor is completely taken for. I don't want to say it's conservative. It's a conservative grift, but it might as well be. Under her stead as prosecutor, and then especially under her stead as a DA, there were less black people that went to prison needlessly. She decreased the amount of people that went to prison by like what was it, like 2,000 or 3,000?
Yes, 2,000.
Yeah, The only people that went to prison for simple marijuana charges were like 6 people. Everybody else had like other charges added onto those, so such as like firearm possession, intent to distribute, things like that. She reduced recidivism by what was it? 30%? I think is how much she reduced recidivism by.
Did the Back on Track program, and that same program, other governors actually took that blueprint from her. So she was a pioneer.
I also find it interesting that this is a talking point. Wait, I just want to say this really quick. I find it interesting as a talking point. So as Jovan pointed out, that what you stated was false. And I think there was a total of maybe 45 actual people that were placed in prison, and not all of them were minorities due to drug charges. But with that being said, it's the fact that you're ignoring during that timeline that was a chargeable offense that also came with jail time as a possibility. So you're angry at her for doing her job as a prosecutor. Even if what the statement you said was true, which it's not, you're angry at her for doing her job and following the guidelines of the law that she was serving in. Is that what I'm gathering?
No, I'm saying that she purposely went out of her way to make sure that
Well, that's false. But even if that's false, but even if there was an abundance of minority people that were placed in prison, it's still the fact that you were like, if she was a Republican and did that, what would your statement be?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
If you found out a white Republican who was an attorney general disproportionately imprisoned black people due to, say, drug crimes, where is your outrage? Because I can assure you that's happening in red states across the nation.
They weren't running for president.
Wait, but hold on.
I wouldn't have voted for them.
Just really quickly. When all of this about Kamala Harris has been debunked, what then makes her worse than Trump?
Well, not all of it has been debunked.
It has, friend. I promise you, it has. Also, you're very quiet. We can barely hear you.
I don't know if this is any better. But there is also the other fact where, to prove my side, where she specifically stated at a state dinner that she gets to control people's lives, to decide that whether or not they go to prison.
She was making a statement. Wait, have you seen the full context of that video? She's pointing out that she realizes she has an incredible responsibility to her job because of the fact that her job changes people's lives forever. That is not her bragging. She was making a statement reiterating the responsibility behind her role as Attorney General. You understand that, right?
I'd have to look more into it, honestly, on that part.
Jesus Christ. But you already voted, so here we are.
Actually, I didn't vote, but I believe both candidates were horrible.
Can I just a question? How can you have a opinion on a quote but have not looked into the full quote?
I've looked into the stuff in the past. I'm just currently driving right now, and I'm not going to try and look stuff up to make sure that I'm talking exactly, correct factual information.
Yeah, it just seems like this idea that Harris is worse than Trump is just totally unfounded. Like in what regard? Like Trump is, if we're on band for band, track record for track record, it doesn't even come close. And I don't even like Harris, but I can recognize that it does not come close to Donald Trump.
Well, to pivot on to something that I do know, instead of something that I don't know and I can't look up at the direct moment, what would you say about the fact that Donald Trump during his first 4 years did not get the U.S. involved in any new wars?
Because we were already involved in wars.
And neither did Biden.
And he got us out of several.
No, he didn't. What war did he get us out of? Wait. He just said he got us out of several. What war did he get us out of?
I can't tell you that, but I know there's. I think,
wait, you just said you know this
he probably got us
out
of Afghanistan.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. We were still in Afghanistan when he left office. What are you talking about?
Can I speak
I
on this
believe it was
topic?
the Abraham Accords that had set up for us to
Nope,
leave.
that
if I'm
also
not
did not
mistaken.
take us out of a war.
Yeah,
The Abraham
I
Accord
want to
actually
let
intensified.
Chris go ahead.
Yeah, so geopolitics is my wheelhouse. So yeah, let's go ring around the rosy, and I'm just going to paint the picture. He was actually substantially worse than Biden. Number one, according to the actual Afghanistan withdrawal investigation, Annex F, it said that Trump never had a plan, nor did he pass a plan on to Biden. Instead, he actually conducted several meetings with the Taliban that he didn't even let his own cabinet know. He released 5,000 Taliban war commandos that went back to Afghanistan. So he did nothing to help us. Number two, right? He moved the American embassy to Tel Aviv all the way to Jerusalem that only incited violence. And he said in 2018 that I promise that there will never be any more conflicts between Israel and Palestine. Well, that's fake. He backed us out of the Iranian nuclear deal that Obama helped, create, that only allowed them to produce 3% of uranium to keep us safe from a nuclear threat. Trump comes in and backs us out of it. That's the first question that actually J.D. Vance was asked during the vice president debate, and he just ran from it because he didn't have an answer. Also, Trump started a war, Turkish-Kurdish war, and he was executing drone strikes every 1.4 days. So yeah, Biden got us out, and I'm not even a fan of Biden. I'm just going to use a benchmarker. Biden got us out of Afghanistan. He also recently brokered a deal between Israel and Lebanon. So yeah, I don't really see the effectiveness of Trump's foreign policy, and I don't even like Biden like that at all.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's probably a mistake calling him while I'm driving. I can't look up the info that I need to.
But wait, you literally changed the topic to this topic because you said you were confident on this topic.
Yeah, and
I'm confident that he got us out of conflict.
He
I
did
just
not.
I can't access all the info to exactly tell you what.
Do you know what the agreement was in in the Doha agreement that ended the Afghan war? Do you know what the agreement was?
No. Explain it to me.
Okay, he released 5,000 Taliban in exchange for 1,000 Afghan prisoners, and they released them prior to the pullout. And the same people currently controlling Afghanistan through Taliban were within those individuals that were released. They are also the ones that wreaked havoc during the evacuation and caused the death of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Yep.
You understand that?
As a Tari.
So he released the T group before we actually pulled out safely and got all of our allies and our military out. Do you think that's a wise presidential decision when you're literally walking out the door and refuse to do turnover to the incoming administration?
Yeah.
But did he get us out?
No.
He didn't. Biden had to actually do it, and he also had to do it under new timelines and guidance that was put in place by a prior administration that refused to do turnover.
So he in fact, not only did he not get us out, he set conditions for it to make it harder for us to get out. For example, Mohammed Al-Farouk Akbari, right? He was the dude that was called on UAV. That was one of the 5,000. He was releasing people outside of Kabul prisons to go converge on the Kabul airport. If Trump just left people like that in prison, maybe, just maybe, those 13 Marines would be alive today. Maybe.
Well, I'm going to do some more research, and I know I look foolish calling here, and I am woefully unprepared to talk to you guys. So I will try to come back when I have all my information and ducks in a row and can actually discuss the conversation instead of wasting your time.
All right.
By the way, before I do go, Jovan, I just found you the other day, and I'd like to have further conversations with you. And I hope you guys have a good day.
All right, you too. That was loud. Yeah. We got the anti-Trump dream team up here, so I don't know that. Also, where did Alina go?
She said she was eating breakfast, but
Alina.
Why she didn't even offer us any? What a communist she is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Does anybody in the guest request disagree? I wouldn't mind bringing up people in the guest request if they disagree. It doesn't have to always be just like one person up from the YouTube that disagrees. YouTube is coping and seething right now because they got nothing. They have no response to anything you guys have said whatsoever.
well,
Okay. I like how somebody's like, too bad the country spoke. 28% of the country spoke? Only 28% of voting age Americans voted for Donald Trump. Y'all didn't even get half the country to vote for you. Aw. Think I give a fuck because 28% of people care? Please.
Getting in the way, man.
Please. Remember, if you want to support the stream, please do all the supporty things. Cash App and Venmo are on the board. This stream is fully fan funded. Without your support, I can't do it. So if you want to keep supporting it, do it up. Do what you got to do. Yeah. There's some people in the box. Let's see if they agree or disagree. Oh, okay. I think my guest request thing is broken again. Okay, what about this person? Wait, I don't think they disagree because they just commented on something Chris said.
oh, what happened?
I'm just looking for people in the box that might disagree. But right now, it's not pulling anybody in. What's up, Hanzo? Do you agree or disagree with the topics on the board? Okay. Guess I'll open the YouTube calls again. So if you want to chat on YouTube, feel free to call into the call-in line. That was crazy. Y'all, there are 400 of you watching on TikTok alone and 160 of you on Twitch. If you each donated $1, we'd more than hit our goal today. So let's do it up. All right, let's take a look. Hello, are you here to have a conversation?
Yeah.
All right. Can I just get your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, this is Rich, 31, and I'm a he.
All right, Rich, you have a bit of background noise. Or are you like, do you have like a speaker? Do you have like your phone on speaker or something?
Is that better?
Let me see. Yeah, that seems to be a little bit better. Yeah. Rich, what do you disagree with on the board?
I just disagree that Trump is the worst candidate. Yeah.
All right. Who do you
Trump's
think the worst candidate was then?
I think Kamala is definitely the worst. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory the fact that she promotes sex changes for transgender inmates. She supports abortion. I mean, the list goes on and on. The border.
Do you know that the
She
law?
doesn't know what she's talking about.
Do you know that the law that allowed for inmates to receive sex change operations was put through under Trump's administration?
Oh, so Trump did that?
Yeah, that law went through under Trump's first term.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to fact check that.
I'll do it for you right now.
Last time I heard,
I'll do it for you right now.
I watched interviews of her clearly stating that.
She was speaking on the law. She was speaking the law that already existed. So, I mean, she was just following the existing law under the former administration.
Oh, okay. So Trump would verbally come out and say that he supports that, you think?
Would Trump say he supports it? I don't know. He allowed it to go through, though, under his administration. He didn't veto it.
Nor did he condemn it.
You don't. Okay. Well, maybe I need to fact check that. Yeah, I just think that he's a better option. I think he's trying to restore Christian values. I mean, nobody's perfect. We've all made mistakes. Everybody in the chat, all of you guys, no one's perfect, but there's just certain things that, as a father, I can't stand behind. I can't stand for sex changes for kids and, pushing this idea of you can be whatever you want to be and you're not even fully developed yet. The list goes on. And I'm just, personally, I can't get behind somebody that allows that. And I don't think our country was founded on the idea of allowing that.
It wasn't
And
founded
can I
on
ask you a quick
Christian-
question? Wait. I just want to ask him a quick question. When was
Sure.
that publicly supported by her?
What's that? I didn't hear you. Could you say that again? Hello?
Yes.
I'm here. Hello?
Jess. He asked you to repeat what you said.
Hello?
Okay, I don't know what's happened to Jess. But really quickly, I do just want to pull up the fact check here. So I'll put it up on screen for anybody that's looking at the screen. Give me a second to put that up on the screen. There we go. So this is under Trump, U.S. prisons offer gender affirming care. So this is a fact check specifically from the New York Times. Trump appointees at the Bureau of Prisons, a division of the Justice Department, provided an array of gender-affirming treatments, including hormone therapy for a small group of inmates who requested it during Mr. Trump's 4 years in office. In a February 2018 budget memo to Congress, Bureau officials wrote that under federal law, they were obligated to pay for a prisoner's surgery if it was deemed medically necessary. Still, legal wrangling delayed the first such operation until 2022, long after Mr. Trump left office. So, it was federal law when Trump was in office. It was federal law. The statement in part reflected guidelines that officials in the Obama administration released shortly before they left office in January 2017, which were geared at ensuring transgender inmates connect. So let me correct myself here. Obama signed it into policy, and Trump did not take it out of policy.
There you go.
Yeah, but he had a chance.
And I would be. And look, I'm not a brainiac when it comes to politics, but with that being said, I would be,
but Trump,
I would be hard pressed.
Trump's administration, just really quickly, Trump's administration looked over the policy, and all they did was they added the word necessary to it. So they made a policy change with it. They didn't get rid of it. They just added the word necessary. So he could have gotten.
What scenario would it be necessary? That's
when it significantly affects the person's health.
I mean, it's water under the bridge now because she's not president. I just think that with those kind of, you look at the past, 16 years, I think 12 of them have been ran by Democrat. I could be wrong on that number, but my point being, as a father of twin boys,
okay,
I can't, me personally, I couldn't have voted the other way. Regardless if Trump says things that are outlandish, he's an arrogant prick that should, present himself differently. If he did, he probably would have a lot more support. But I think that the reason the way you seen the election go the way that it was is because people were just sick of the letting the illegals in,
Oh my
you know,
God.
this whole movement letting women compete in men's
First,
sports.
hold on, friend.
Ridiculous.
Is there a way for you to your phone is just very choppy. I don't know if there's a way for you to fix that, but it sounds like you don't have great service.
I don't. Did this help or no?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like popcorn a little bit, but
Sorry, I glitched. Can I ask him my question now?
sure, then I'll go after you if that's okay with Javon.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I just want to say, can you tell me one time or one advertisement or one, anything that she put out that supported transitioning children during her entire campaign of 102 days?
No, I don't think she. I don't think that she. I can't recall or recite anything where she came out and said that. But you just look at. If you look at the left administration, the people that they were allowing
Name one.
into office.
Name one piece of legislation. No. Name one piece of legislation that advocated for the
Cutting me. Well, you're
transition,
cutting
the
me. You're not even
sexual.
letting me finish the sentence.
No.
You're not even letting me finish.
You just obfuscated my question, which you acknowledged she never did, and I can back that up. She never made any type of claims for that as policy. So you're obfuscating to say the collective left politicians. Name a policy that the left has put forth that wants to allow sexual changes in regards to surgeries on minors. Tell me what policy that is.
Well, you're missing the whole thing. There's a whole movement of it.
No, I'm not. The reality is that our
Then
politicians are
answer
not
my
taking
question.
up.
Why is there a whole movement? Why is there a whole movement for it? Tell me why.
A movement, sir. Because the right made it a movement. The left did not make it a movement.
The right,
Your party
the
did.
right made it a movement?
Yes. Right.
How?
Literally
Who?
made this a culture war. Okay, I just asked you a blatant question to show me a singular policy by a left-wing politician that targets minors of getting surgery, gender surgeries, and you can't. You know why you can't? Because
Okay,
they
but
don't exist.
Listen, did Biden not come, they celebrated this whole LGBTQ. What do you mean? He celebrated it on Easter, if I'm not mistaken.
First of all,
he
No
celebrated.
way.
Stop.
No
First of all,
way.
the trans day that you're referencing has all. Wait, stop talking. The trans day that you're referencing to recognize the trans community has existed prior to Biden, and it has always been on the same day. It just happened to fall on Easter this past year. That's literally any other holiday that is on a select date instead of a select day of the month. So instead of being like the second Thursday of November, it's a date every year, and it just happened to fall on the same day.
Well,
He did not. So that was dumb. But I'm asking you for the third time.
You can say it's dumb, but anyone with a brain.
Oh my God!
Can I
You're
talk?
ignoring me.
I'm the caller. Last time I forgot. Anyone with a brain.
Answer my question.
Anyone with a brain.
No. Are trans
What do you
people?
No. You're just saying words now. Anyone with a brain.
Please let me finish. Are trans people real people? Does the trans community exist in real life? Do those people exist? Yes or no?
Yes, they exist. Yes.
Okay, so if they exist and we acknowledge their existence, but we don't push forward policy that is trying to target minors, how are you saying this is a collective left movement?
Okay, so why are they allowing it in schools then? What are you talking about?
It was a lie. I work in public schools. Not one teachers can't afford fucking crowns, dude. You think they're paying for gender affirming surgeries? Are you being so for real right now? Our schools are so underfunded, it's not even funny.
You're telling me that there's parents. You're telling me that there's parents who don't try to do that. That's what you're saying.
You said schools.
Parents' rights. I believe in parental rights. If a parent believes their child is gender questioning, that is their parental right to seek treatment for them.
They should be thrown in jail. Is what should happen.
Nobody's throwing. No. Where's that a law? Where's that a law?
Yeah. Also, Jess, when
Are
you
you?
get
Wait, listen. Let me tell you this. I'm a father of twin
Answer my
boys.
question. I'm a father of 3 daughters. I don't give a fuck. I'm a mom too. I'm 43 years old.
You have a stupid ass question, and clearly you shouldn't be a mother.
Oh my god.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, really. You're condescending as fuck, and you try to big brother people, and you're.
How am I big brothering you? I'm asking you direct questions to try to show you that the left is not pushing for the claim you're put.
If you look at but if you look at the big picture of everything that's going on.
I am the left, and I am not. We are not. There's no law being pushed for the claim you're making. This was a culture war created by your party to get you angry, as you are right now, and make you think that you're saving children. You're not. There's no laws that exist that you are claiming are trying to be pushed by the collective left. So I'm going to ask you a question. It's not a stupid question.
Okay, wait, I want to point something out. I want to point something out really quickly. I want to point something out. You've made a claim that the left is pushing this. We're pushing this in schools. Parents are pushing this. All of this sort of stuff. Do you have any evidence that this is like actually happening, or are you just saying that it is?
I mean, I've seen video footage of parents going to the board and like literally losing their shit, and the board saying absolutely nothing. I've seen several videos.
Could it be that the parents are lying and the board is just like, what the fuck?
Yell about. I can go to my board and yell about crazy asinine shit and it not be true. You know that, right? I go to the school board meetings every month.
I mean, I know me as a parent, me as a father. The way
I go to school board meetings every month. I work in the school system. What you're saying is lies. You don't know what you're talking about. You have been gaslit by TikTok videos and YouTube.
Who's the guy who runs this show?
Jovan.
Me.
Okay, dude, the girl that you have in here, you shouldn't let her on here. I'm just being honest. Like, she talks over everybody.
Why? Because I'm intelligent and because I actually know what I'm talking about?
I just dropped him. Shut up, bro. Stop crying. Jesus fuck. Why are conservatives such crybabies, bro?
I had a conservative tell me yesterday, because earlier before when we were talking about like communism and stuff, I had, I mentioned like the literacy rates in other countries being higher, and they said with a straight face that reading books makes you more susceptible to propaganda and makes you more stupid. That's what they told me, that having higher literacy makes you stupid.
I gotta throw some thank yous out there. So thank you to Siobhan for the Venmo. Thank you to Warrior Princess for the Venmo. Thank you to Elaine for the Venmo. Thank you to Lexi for the Cash App. Thank you to Francois for the Cash App. Thank you to Brandon for the Cash App. Thank you to Shannon for the Cash App. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Remember that these lives are supported fully by you guys, the fans, the watchers. And if you want Morning Manifesto to go until 11, let's hit that tip goal. We hit that tip goal. Morning Manifestos go until 11. So you guys want to see it? Let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's keep the morning stream going. I'm gonna need the next person to come up to have some sort of what's a good word? Evidence for their claims. Some sort of source material would be great. Some sort of source. I'm going to open up the call-in line again if anybody on YouTube wants to call in. Now listen, there's a lot of people in the live, okay? We do have to let the conservatives get out their full talking points, okay? Just to the panelists.
Yes, sir.
I apologize to Chris for not letting you ask your question. I'm so sorry. He was.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Caller, good morning. Do you disagree with the points on the board?
I disagree with that's what I'm really calling about.
Okay, can I just get your name, age, and pronouns first?
My name is Ferrari.
All right, your age.
SEY.
I don't need the full name. Just something that we can call you.
Yeah, Ferrari, and my age is 45.
And your pronouns?
Male.
Those aren't pronouns.
Oh, brother, then I don't have a pronoun.
I'm sorry. I don't have a pronoun is the sentence you just said?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I is a pronoun. I'm totally fine if you don't want to have pronouns, but can you just tell me that without using a pronoun in the sentence?
Well, that's just what I stated.
No, but can you tell me you don't use pronouns without using a pronoun?
Yeah, I don't. I do not use pronouns.
I is a pronoun, so you just used a pronoun in that sentence.
Well, I don't use it in to identify, any part of my character.
You are using it to identify. It's not identifying character. It's just identifying you.
All right.
And by saying you are identifying yourself.
What is the right answer?
The right answer would be to tell. The right answer would just be to tell me what pronouns you use. Yeah. Or can we just make them? Can we just say whatever ones we want?
I use all the pronouns in the English language.
Okay, you got it. Everybody, she uses all the pronouns in the English language. Okay, let's. You are on the call, so you said you disagreed with what Jess was saying. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I disagree that the Republicans made this movement of allowing transition for minors and operations and allowing all of this madness to go on. I strongly disagree because it was just stated. It was just stated
just
that
let him finish, Jess.
Obama's administration passed it into law.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah. So real quick. Yeah. So first of all, the law we're referencing is about adults, not children. And so when I said that the right has what created this whole culture war, what I'm saying is I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the last guy if you were listening. Name a single piece of legislation being pushed by left-wing politicians at any branch of government that are pushing for minors to get gender surgeries. There isn't one. So if that's the case,
I'm here. No.
Yeah,
That's a question. That's a question that is like way over my head because I don't know if there is one.
The answer is none.
What I do know.
Answer is none.
No.
The answer
Allow
is
me.
none.
Allow me, please. I do know of Democrats pandering for this to continue. I do not know of Republicans pandering for this to continue.
Tell me an example. Give me an example.
Parents showing off in Democratic cities.
No. Excuse me. We're talking about politicians. Fun fact, I don't give a shit what random people in the street or voters do. I'm asking you for an example of left-wing politicians, as you called it, pandering to the idea that they want to give gender surgeries to children. You understand that people on your side, I don't know if you're on the right, but I assume you voted for Trump. The people that voted for Trump are literally carrying SWAT-C signs, okay? So if you want to make that claim, that's really stupid because I can talk about how you side with SWAT-Cs. I'm saying I need people in power, political positions of power, that are proving, pandering, passing politics or policy that is doing what you're claiming we're pushing for.
So the experience for the past 4 years, right, has politicians on
Name one.
the left.
Name one.
So Joe Biden, the president, the leader of the Democratic Party, himself stated these things. Yes, he did.
What did he say? When did he say he wanted minors to get surgeries?
I don't have this information. You can Google it. You can Google it and find it out yourself.
I Googled it. It never happened. He has never advocated for gender surgeries on children.
But it actually, but if you Google it, if you Google Joe Biden,
Jovan, can you Google it right now in real time?
I'm actually, talking to you
I said, can
with a clear
Jovan do
mind.
it?
I'm telling you,
Okay.
I'm telling you, if you Google Joe Biden talking about it, you will see it. Now,
I'm
we all
telling you
know
that's not true. I'm telling you that's not true.
Republicans.
I'm telling you that's not true. That's not true. What you're stating is false. Joe Biden has never, ever advocated for gender surgeries for minor children. Not once ever. Never. This is a false reality that you have created in your brain that has been peddled by the right. You cannot name a
Just like
single
Project 2025.
politician.
Just like Project 2025 was
running, dude.
created by the right wing, but
So
the
why
right
is Trump?
wing, but the leaders of the right wing separate themselves from
So why
Project
did Trump
2025,
appoint?
but
Why
it
has Trump
continues to
appointed?
be pushed that
No,
Donald
because
Trump
he's
supports Project 2025.
great.
The
So
same
why did
thing
he
goes
appoint?
with this.
Okay, can
The same
I
thing goes with the
respond to your
gender.
statement? No, stop. Don't go to another topic. You're talking about Project
No,
2025.
I'm
No,
still on
you
it.
just
I'm
brought up
still on it. I
Project.
said,
No, you
and just
just brought up
like we're
Project
talking about
2025,
the
and now you're talking about
gender,
gender. Great. So Project
just like we're
2025.
talking
Why did
about the
Trump?
gender.
Jesus Christ, sir, pause.
I'm listening.
Why
I'm
did
listening. I'm
Trump?
listening.
Why did Trump appoint multiple individuals that wrote Project 2025 to his incoming cabinet in the last 2 weeks? If it's not, he literally just put in charge of policy one of the main authors of Project 2025 from the Heritage Foundation. JD Vance, his vice president pick, wrote the foreword. Like, I don't understand. Why would he put these people that not only support Project 2025, but authored it in positions of power where they can implement his policies?
Interesting, because I am not familiar with the authors and the influencers of Project 2025, and for you to tell me that he's putting people in power that influence that document, it is alarming. You know, I don't like anything in Project 2025.
I'm gonna give you a name so you can Google it. Okay, when you have your free
What's that?
time. So
What am I
let's
Googling?
see. New Trump's budget chief wrote Project 2025's agenda for empowering the presidency. So he just appointed, this was on November 30th. So 2 days ago, he appointed White House Budget Director Russ Vought. Russ Vought was caught in a video that I shared saying how he cannot wait to Trump to get into office so he can implement the part of Project 2025 that was so egregious they haven't even published it. He was caught in an undercover sting where he was recorded without his knowledge, admitting that Project 2025 was going to be implemented and that Trump is separating himself to try to pretend like it's not a part of his incoming administration. That's the man he just appointed over the entire budget direction of the White House. I posted the video on my platform.
Interesting. You know what? I support the Trump administration because they offer a change to a lot of things that really go against my core values. You know, I strongly think that people who think that they were born in the wrong body, I think that this is something
How does it affect you?
psychological. I think it's a psychological issue.
Hold on, Jess. Hold
Not a real life changing laws issue. So when I see people trying to make this an American reality, I think that these people wouldn't be able to make an America in 1776. I think these are the people.
All right,
I think these are the people that take us me. I think these are the people that take a knee to the rulers, and they wouldn't have never made it in America in those years. So these are the people that are trying to change that word.
Bro.
Hello?
How about we don't
Why are you jumping?
Because here's what I
statement?
don't give a fuck about. What Americans wanted in 1776. We still had fucking slavery in 1776. I don't give a fuck if something wouldn't have happened in 1776. We also wouldn't have had email in 1776. That's a stupid fucking talking point. That's just dumb. That is just the dumbest shit I've heard all day.
It's dumb because it attacks. It's dumb because it attacks the core gut value of this movement. It's made of wimps.
It doesn't. It's stupid. Every trans person I've ever met is stronger than you.
Name someone in history
every trans person I've ever met.
Name someone in history that considered themselves a trans that had a significant change in the human progress.
None of this matters. None
Name someone.
None of this matters.
It doesn't matter.
No, none of what you're saying matters.
Matter. But psychologically, you can peel this onion and find out what's really wrong with these people.
None of what you're saying
But
matters. You're just saying dumb stuff.
That. We're not taking
You're
that
just
for
saying
face
dumb
value,
things.
though. We're
You're
not
just
taking
saying
that for
dumb
face
things.
value.
You're quite literally just saying dumb things. None of this matters. I don't care if
you could say what you want about my statements. The reality is.
Can I jump in on this?
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. So, buddy. Hey, I'm gonna need you to slow down.
Fact of life.
Okay,
You can see it in the animal kingdom. You can see it all over the earth.
Hey.
This whole thing.
Let's have a conversation. You're shotgunning a bunch of stuff. All right. One, your argument quickly falls apart because we're not a Christian country, dog. First Amendment.
We're not a what?
We're not a Christian country. We're not a Christian country, dog. First Amendment. Establishment. Yes, we're not a Christian country, dog. So, with that being said, First Amendment, the Establishment Clause says that the government cannot establish an official religion of the country. Also, with your paradigm, hold on a second. Why is there over 1,700 with Roman Catholic, which is one of the biggest denominations of Christianity, like PDF files per year? Because their literal canon 1803 says that it's okay still to this day that the legal age of marriage is 14. Why are we not addressing harmful ideologies like that? Because I don't know about you, but priests going around touching.
We should. Hey, we should address all evil.
Okay, I'm not.
We
Hey,
should
dude,
address all
I wasn't
evil.
I wasn't talking. I wasn't done talking. Jeez.
I wasn't going to interrupt you.
I wasn't done talking.
Ahead,
I wasn't done talking.
No, I was just adding. I was just adding to you. And
I
continue.
got it. Hey, okay, dude. The sooner that you shut up. Oh my gosh. All right. So, with that being said, right, you're talking about 1% of the whole world, right? Which you still haven't been able to list one politician or like anything. But I can actually name you tons of politicians.
No, I don't have the name of one.
Dude, can you stop talking? I will let you respond if you stop.
No, I can't. Just like you could jump in the middle of something that I'm
you don't
saying.
have impulse control. You don't have impulse control. All right. So now. Yeah, so I was going to go over the Republicans that said that they don't want churches to be taxed, but yeah, everybody
go ahead. No, go ahead, Chris. Finish your thought.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's been plenty of right-wing politicians that said that churches deserve to be tax exempt because they're places of religious worship, which is a violation of the same First Amendment that I've said. But I'm more worried about the Roman Catholic PDF files that have a larger number in America and continue to get by. But yeah, thanks.
It's just low key. So embarrassing, bro. Impulse control does not exist in conservatives. Just like full stop, bro. Does not exist in conservatives. Guys, it is 10 o'clock. This is our usual end of the show, but if we can get halfway to our goal during this quick little intermission, I will extend to 10:30. Do you think we can do it, chat? Yes or no? What's the decision made by the chat? Otherwise, that'll be it for the show until tomorrow, where we are going to do Trickle Down Tuesday, which will mostly be talks about, you guessed it, communism, which is my favorite topic to talk about. Loki, Chris, you said you started reading the books I gave you?
Yeah.
You slowly becoming a dirty commie?
Sure. No, I mean, I meant that as a yeah, but.
Why is there a call-in guest image? So that people know when there's a call-in guest. And they know we're talking to somebody on the YouTube. Go ahead, Chris, sorry.
I wasn't going to be like that first guy and say that I know a book I didn't read. You know, that was crazy.
That, bro, to say I don't have to read something to be able to argue about it is crazy. It's craziest shit I've ever heard. Okay, well, it looks like we are going to end the stream here today, which is fine. 10 o'clock is our usual time to end. So I do want to thank my panelists for being here. Guys, thank you for being here and talking and chatting. And I will see you both tomorrow, okay?
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Chris.
All right. With that being said, we are going to end the morning show today. I hope you guys had a great stream with us today. Follow me on all platforms if you want to usual evening live streams where we'll be doing one-on-one debates, as well as whatever else we decide to do. YouTube, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Go watch my newest videos. Go watch my newest videos.